Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Bernie here, and welcome back again. We just finished Survivor Series. Right now, I just need to process my thoughts a little bit more, but once this intro is done, I'll get right to you guys. Well, Survivor Series just happened, and what I gotta say is I am left a little bit confused and disappointed. This card that we got from Survivor Series, stemming from the women's match, stemming from the men's match, with the championship matches, I thought this card was going to be really good. And after watching War Games on Saturday night, I mean, that card was so amazing. Congrats to Andrade Cien Almas. Great match with Drew McIntyre. I think he might have been hurt in that match, but we still have to wait. I know Triple H said that he might have had a torn bicep, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But we're not here to talk about War Games, even though it was the better pay-per-view. We're here to talk about Survivor Series. So let's start off with what happened first. I believe in the pre-show match, it was Enzo Amore and Kalisto. I mean, who really cares about that match? You already know that Kalisto was going to win. Or not Kalisto, sorry. Enzo was going to win. You already knew that Enzo was going to win, so it didn't really matter. And I believe it was the Fashion Police versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And I know that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens won. I wasn't really involved in the pre-show that much because I already knew this card was going to be so long, stemming from the fact that it was an extra hour earlier than it normally is on pay-per-views. So, of course, you're going to be a little bit tired. And I will say this pay-per-view made me a lot tired. And I just don't know what else to say other than I was kind of disappointed in tonight's pay-per-view. Really, when we had War Games, which is such a beast pay-per-view, when you had all those great matches. I mean, of course, the War Games match itself was a little bit up and down here and there, but still, that card, there was not a match I did not like on that War Games card. But here in Survivor Series, there were a couple matches I did not like. But, we're not here, like I said, we're not here to talk about War Games, we're here to talk about Survivor Series. So let's start it off with the first one being the New Day versus The Shield. I was really upset with this match because I thought this was going to be one of those great matches, and I know Peter also said that it was going to be a great match, but looking at the card, and not the card, but looking at the match and after watching it, I was left a little disappointed. I mean, there were some cool spots here and there. Roman got his cheers and boos. Of course, he got a reaction, which is always good. When you're a superstar that is as polarizing as a John Cena or Roman Reigns, any reaction is good reaction according to the WWE, even though I would like them to react to the reaction by turning him to the appropriate way to make him more of a badass or a heel, just something that fans can get behind, because right now they're not getting behind this Roman Reigns that we have now. But, that's a moot point, and we're here to talk about Survivor Series. It was a little bit of a slow match, I would say. The New Day are usually working up faster pace, especially after those Uso matches. I thought it was going to be a little bit faster, but like I said, I was left a little bit disappointed in the New Day. The New Day didn't really do as much as I thought they would. Very slow, very disappointing in this. I expected a lot more from both teams, especially the New Day, since they had all those great matches with the Usos. But I don't know, maybe it goes to show you that you need two to tango, and I think Dean is kind of not as a great worker as he once was, or he's very lazy about it. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just not impressed with Dean's work. The only person I was really impressed with was Seth Rollins, and a little bit of Big E, because Big E, I think he might get a singles push at some point. I know there was rumors about it years ago, and maybe in a couple months it might be time again, but who knows. After this, there was actually a pretty cool spot in the match, I will say. It was when Xavier Woods had Big E on his shoulders, so you know that Xavier Woods don't skip leg day, and Kofi Kingston just is on the top rope, and this is happening in the corner. He jumps over Big E and Xavier Woods to go on to, I believe it was either Dean or Seth, but it was honestly such a great spot, and you already knew what was going to happen. Roman Reigns is in the match. The results should be obvious to you, even though I wish it was the New Day, but no, WWE went the predictable way, and they had the Shield win 1-2-3. Not really, like I said, a very kind of disappointing match, but still, I enjoyed it a little bit, but I'm not saying I've enjoyed it a lot more than these other matches that came up. So right now, we have the next match, which is the Women's Survivor Series match. This one was a little bit of a clusterfuck. I will say that it was very sloppy at some points. Alicia Fox, bless her soul. She's been in the company for 10 years, but that girl cannot you can't have a match without a botch. She's been in the business for 10 years. You would expect her to be a little bit better than she was tonight, but it's Alicia Fox. What do you expect? She's a model turned wrestler. Even though she picked it up quite well in some aspects, I don't know what happened this year. All of a sudden, it's like those skills went from like here all the way down again. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things that we got to really pay attention to because some of the work is really bad. I know we like to support our wrestlers even though some of them are bad, but when they are bad, you can't just say, oh, she needs more time, she needs to wrestle more. It doesn't work like that. You are given the allotted time, and if you're good enough, you will definitely exceed expectations, and you'll get those callbacks again where you will wrestle. I just don't understand it from that perspective, but it is what it is. That's what happened, and it was kind of crazy to me because we also saw that Asuka got a huge reaction from the crowd, which is very good to see. You want your new person that you brought up for NXT, especially Asuka, who's undefeated as a wrestler right now in the WWE brand. You want her to look good, and the crowd responded appropriately to her. They cheered for her. She got a loud pop, and I guess the crazy thing about this match really was the fact that Bayley got eliminated pretty early by Tamina Snuka. That has to tell you that she has some backstage issues. I mean, these women have to have some backstage issues, like Sasha, like Bayley, because some of these, the way they're getting eliminated, it has to tell you that there's some heat. I mean, how are you losing to Tamina? She's not even a good wrestler. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I was a huge Bayley fan, and I like the gimmick in NXT, but on the main roster, it's just completely lost its luster. They overdid her. They overproduced her, and look where she is now. She's basically getting little to no reaction from crowds wherever she goes. I mean, she could go to Milwaukee. She could go anywhere. The only place that she really gets a reaction is NXT, or not NXT. Well, yes, NXT, but England, in the UK. Anywhere in the UK, she gets a good reaction, and that's just because of the song that they sing, which is Bayley, will you... Hey, I want to know. Like, will you be my girl? Basically. I know. Excuse the poor singing. But, I'm just getting a little bit confused and kind of, not bamboozled, but just confused as to why Bayley isn't getting over the way she should. I thought, she had a good gimmick in NXT, and I thought it would translate very well to the main roster because it's very easy to book her storyline. But I don't know if WWE just thought, you know what, let's try to go the extra mile and do something different. Well, obviously it didn't work because she's not getting nearly the reaction she did in NXT, and we're left here where she got eliminated by Tamina. And in an instance in this match, we got a battle of Tamina versus Nia Jax, who's in the match, which is a very interesting battle because I believe, it wasn't like a bad match. It was pretty bad. Tamina's not a very good wrestler. She's okay at it. The one person who did take a really bad bump, and that was Lana. Literally, Nia Jax ran into Lana, and you could see her like high heels flying all over the place. You could see it just flying when the cameraman just picked it up. You could just see a shoe flying out of the scene. And it was just ridiculous. She took a nasty bump, and Rusev, if you're watching, you better make sure you step up to Nia Jax. Not saying to just start some Twitter beef. Start your Twitter beef on Rusev Day. Just tell her it's Rusev Day. You can't do that, and hopefully you get better, and hopefully they push you more. I mean, this is really all it was for me when I said this. Just push Rusev, please. Please, WWE. Please push him. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Tamina in this match was knocking over Asuka a lot, and I just saw that that was like the main focus of the story. You really don't want to piss off Asuka, or else she will come at you hard. And I think it was after all this said and done, after everyone got eliminated, Becky got eliminated first. I forgot to mention that, and I am still PO'd about that because Becky is a really good wrestler, and they just don't let her be great because they decide to just job her out for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but they did it, and it's just very annoying and frustrating. But anyway, it came down to the last two, so it was Tamina and Natalya versus Asuka, which, of course, Asuka was going to dominate the last two. It was a good match. I thought Asuka did a very good job of getting over. She did what she needed to do by beating everybody up. I wish they would have done it where she was the only one left and there was like 3 or 4 women left. So that way you could have put over her even more in terms of you want to build this woman as a dominant competitor, but how can you do that? You do that by eliminating as many people as possible in the Survivor Series match. And we didn't get it today, but hopefully they keep continuing this build. And Asuka is going to be coming for Alexa Bliss's title at some point. But will it be next week? Will it be this next pay-per-view? I'm not sure which one it is next. Maybe it's Night of Champions. I think that's the next one, I believe. But anyway, it's not. I believe it's a SmackDown exclusive. So Raw's got a long way to go before they get their own pay-per-view again. And, like I said, Asuka's probably going to be coming for the title. So, Alexa Bliss, watch her back. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. After Asuka wins the women's match, we got the piss break match of the whole card, and that was Miz versus Baron Corbin. I mean, the thing is, and I keep saying it, the Miz has $1 million mouth, but like a 10-cent wrestling maneuver and finishing. It kind of sucks because they also don't book Miz the right way. They don't book him as like a chicken shit heel. They just book him as a guy that loses. And a guy with the IC belt in the past, if you think about the people that have held it, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, those guys were like the next in line to win the WWE Championship, if you think about it. Some of those guys that held the IC belt pretty much went on to hold on to the WWE Championship, whatever, if it was the World Heavyweight or the regular WWE Championship. I just wish WWE would go back to that model because it makes more sense that, okay, we see the IC belt. It's no longer just a not plastic, but like just a strap around the Miz just so he can look credible. I mean, if Miz is going to be the next WWE champion, then that's how you have to build it. But since they're not doing that by making him lose almost every single match against a Braun Strowman, which of course is believable to lose to him, Roman Reigns, another one, believable to lose to him, but it still sucks that you have to waste the IC belt like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit old school in that terms, and that's what, because I'm more of a new school guy, but I like the old school idea of the IC belt being prestigious and having meaning to it. You had guys like Ric Flair, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, John Cena. Those guys held the belt. And it still doesn't make any sense to me as to why, if those are the next guys that you want to build up to be the next WWE Championship, then let me see it. I don't understand why we don't see it. But that's neither here nor there. The Miz loses to the End of Days by Baron Corbin. And we're here now where I believe it was, what we have? So we had Raw win, and we have Corbin win. So it's 2-1 right now to Raw versus SmackDown. And we're, of course, going to probably come up to the match of the night, and the match I was really excited for, even if it was Seth and Dean Ambrose, but it was The Bar versus the Usos. Usos looking clean in the outfits, man. That's another point I'll make out that I should talk about here, is that in all these matches, all the wrestlers were wearing the SmackDown versus Raw shirt, and I don't understand why they needed to. I know it's probably just like a petty point, but we already know who the Raw wrestlers are. We already know who the SmackDown wrestlers are. You don't need t-shirts to let everyone know. I mean, no, everyone here is a casual. Everyone here has watched Raw, at least this Go Home show, so they know who's on the roster. At least if you don't want to know who's on the roster, you check WWE.com and you see all the matches of who's who, and you'll get your answers there. You don't need to wear a t-shirt. It just looks kind of gimmicky, especially the Shields one, where it was like half the Shields one and then half of Raw. That's not going to sell anything. Don't ever put that merch up, ever. That merch is terrible, and I hope they get rid of it because that looks disgusting. Of course, Roman Reigns wasn't wearing it, and I understand why he didn't wear it, because it's garbage. It looked garbage. I'm sure the material's garbage, but, it's just a petty point. But still, nonetheless, the Usos looking clean in their thing and their look, and this match, at this point, I said, you know what, this match already, besides another match, which I think might be in contention for it, was already better than the other previous matches that we watched before. We had the Miz, we had the women's match, and then we had the Shield and New Day match. Of course, this match was going to take it over. Usos are great workers. They've worked better as a heel faction than a face faction, even though they're a little bit face tendencies I could see in this match. But still, just a great, awesome match. The Bar, of course, Cesaro, the hardest worker in the game, doing his thing. please push that guy at some point because he is really good, and I don't understand this whole brass ring thing. I believe that Cesaro has held the brass ring, and I think he can carry it farther and farther. But, it is what it is for this thing. It's just one of those things where I wish it was a little bit better, but, it's whatever, man. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just pausing. I just want to make sure there was nothing left to talk about because the show kind of ended really early. But, like I said, we were talking about the Usos bar match. Great match. A lot of false finishes. Cesaro and Sheamus held their own in this match. Very impressed with them, as always. They're always going to put on a good match. But, nothing can afford what happened later in this card, but meeting of the minds kind of with the Usos, where I believe they just did a super kick in the middle to Sheamus, I believe, or was it Cesaro? I don't know who, but nevertheless, the Usos won, tying it up 2-2, SmackDown and Raw. Great, awesome match there, and we're gonna see what goes on from there. They had a little backstage promo with Jason Jordan, and it kind of hinted at a heel turn. And I wish it would have happened just because I think it would have been a little refresh for his character, not make him so bland and stale. Heel turns are a little bit cheap at some points, but for Jason Jordan, it was much needed. He's very stale, and I hope one day he will get that. But that was pretty much it for backstage segments. Next, we had Charlotte versus Bliss, and this match was longer than expected. I thought this match was going to take a while, but nevertheless, it was a decent match. Wasn't too impressed with it, but people say that Alexa Bliss can't wrestle. I think that's a load of shit. I think she's actually not that bad at wrestling. I don't understand where this comes from. I don't know if it's because she, just got into wrestling a couple months ago and she has some weak finishes because no one likes the DDT anymore, even though people have been modifying the DDT. In fact, Andrade Cien Almas does a hammerlock DDT, which looks amazing. Sorry that I'm a Andrade Cien Almas fanboy here, but that looked good to me, so I don't understand why people are harping on Alexa Bliss, because I think she's actually a pretty good wrestler, and she's worked the whole time. Her promos are good, and her wrestling is decent. I'm not saying it's the best ever. I'm not saying it's the best woman ever in terms of wrestling ability, but she's still a pretty good wrestler, and I don't understand the hate for her. She looked good to me. I don't understand it. Just because your Baileys and your Sashas aren't there, because, Bailey's buried. Sasha, was in the doghouse because of backstage political BS. I mean, honestly, Sasha Banks should be the top face of that company, or the heel. And she probably works better as a heel, but she should definitely be holding the belt. But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're still waiting for this Sasha and Bailey beef to go on, but we're going to have to find out later. Other than that, it wasn't a bad match, but still nothing I was very interested in. Charlotte wins with the figure 8 and a tap-out submission. Alexa Bliss taps out. Let's move on to a match that I was actually kind of interested in, and a match that I was very surprised, but I mean, why should I be surprised? It's AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles is probably the best worker in WWE. That dude is bar none. That dude can work his butt off. I believe he should get a very high pay raise. He should be the top guy forever. That dude just wrestles like a G, man. He is so good, and I don't understand why people would rather have the title on Jinder Mahal. I mean, I'd rather have the title on AJ Styles, even though I already knew what the results of this match was going to be. Of course, it was going to be Brock Lesnar winning, but the way he won wasn't that... It was very interesting how he won. AJ got a lot of offense in, even though at the beginning Brock Lesnar took apart AJ Styles, but still, Brock Lesnar actually gave a damn about this match. And that's something that I've been criticizing Brock Lesnar about, is that you need to give a damn about this match so that us as fans can give a damn about this match. If I see you in pain because of AJ Styles' calf crusher, that's amazing because, it gives people hope. Like, oh, maybe AJ Styles could win this. AJ Styles hits the phenomenal forearm, and the sound of the pop of the face, very good, very hard hitting, and you could hear it. The crowd's still into it. You get him knocked down, 1-2, false finish. Great. This is what Brock Lesnar needs to do more of. It's like he can't get invested into a match unless he's invested himself. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, whether you work with the Joe Schmo of OVW or some random dude from NXT, you need to put in 100% of the effort, especially for how much they're paying you. You have to be willing to do whatever they want you to do, and you have to do it correctly. I mean, I don't want you half-assing it. Like, I'd rather you tell WWE, look, I'm not going to do the storyline. I don't want to do this match with this person. I'd rather you tell them that, so that way you can actually get good matches with guys you give a damn about. It's just so frustrating because I think Brock Lesnar could be a lot better and could actually enhance a lot of people if they're close to beating him and one day beat him, which I think Roman Reigns will. I think that's what they're doing it for, but I would have loved to see like AJ Styles beat a Brock Lesnar because I hold AJ Styles to a higher standard. Excuse me as I yawn. You can tell this pay-per-view was very long as I'm yawning. You know, I hold AJ Styles to a higher standard than Roman Reigns, and although I would have loved to see AJ Styles win, I understand why he didn't win, but you know, it is what it is. Great match. AJ Styles is so over. Babyface of the company. Babyface of this new WWE era that we're in. You know, whether we like this era or not, AJ Styles is the dude, and that's the dude that everybody loves, and they should love him. Let me see what else I have for match notes here. You know, like I said, AJ Styles got Lesnar in the calf crusher, and Brock Lesnar looked like it hurt. Glad that Brock Lesnar actually gave a damn, and he was selling it because, you know, if it was Dean Ambrose for Seth Rollins... Oh my God, look at me just yawn. Jeez. You know, if it was, you know, Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins, he definitely would have not sold that calf crusher or whatever submission move those guys have, for sure. I mean, it would not have happened. But I'm glad that AJ Styles did it because it really emphasized how great this match was. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar, although it was not my match of the night, it was definitely maybe top 2 for the matches of the night. Next, we're going to have a very long list. I took a lot of notes here. We got the Survivor Series match with the men, Raw versus SmackDown. Oh, I forgot to say, it's tied up 3-3, SmackDown and Raw, and the winner of this match, Survivor Series match, is going to take the tiebreaker. So, of course, we had all the entrances. Triple H got the longest one of them all. Nakamura is still over with the crowd. There was an instance where Shane McMahon got in the ring and Braun Strowman just threw that dude like a sack of potatoes into a truck and just threw him. You see Shane just babbled, dazed and confused as what to happen. It was ridiculous. It looked confusing as hell. But I love the fact that in this match we got Finn versus Nakamura in a face-off. Crowd was very hyped for it. They were chanting NXT. Crowd, you see the crowd listens and watches NXT. So if you see that, WWE, please mention that accomplishments in NXT matter. If you hear the NXT chants, you should be like, okay, we're on this as a commentary team. You know, Finn Balor fought Shinsuke Nakamura, or Finn Balor fought Samoa Joe for a title. There was a feud there that we have to work on. Although they said it a little bit, it wasn't emphasized enough. And they need to emphasize it more because these achievements in NXT actually mean something, because holding a title for NXT means you're that dude that's supposed to be the next one to go up to the main roster and to be the next superstar for this company for years to come. But it is what it is. We're going to see what's going on next. So after that, we got Bobby Roode versus Triple H, which got a huge pop from the crowd. I believe a lot of people wanted to see this match because it's going to be the battle of the spine busters. Who has the better spine buster? Is it Bobby Roode? Is it Triple H? And I believe at one point Bobby Roode did almost look like Triple H. I think he had the bald head, which is great to see. I mean, Bobby Roode, great worker, great talker. Wish they would put him as a heel, but it is what it is. Those two fought in the ring, and they had a battle of the spine busters, of course. Next, we had Angle versus Roode, which is, of course, I don't know if they ever fought in TNA. I haven't really watched TNA. Maybe they fought in TNA, but still great from those guys. And then we got Nakamura being the first one eliminated by Braun Strowman. A little bit disappointed in it. I thought Nakamura was going to be in the match a little bit longer, but it's Braun Strowman. It's more believable if Braun Strowman is put over, even though I don't agree with it myself that he should have been put over. It is what it is there. And let's see what else we got. Quick. You know, then Joe's trying to beef with Braun Strowman because those two got into an argument. They tagged each other in. You know, they kept fighting each other. And after that, it was Strowman and John Cena with Randy Orton also there fighting against Braun Strowman. RKO didn't work. AA didn't work. And of course, the one time it worked is when the whole SmackDown crowd and eliminated Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura, which I don't agree with at all. If they're gone from the match, if they got eliminated, because I forgot to say Bobby Roode also got eliminated, if those guys are eliminated from the match, they should be sent to the back. Don't even come out again. But it was still a cool spot to see Strowman go through the table when they took it apart. And let's see what else we got here. We got Joe getting eliminated by John Cena, which, come on, bro. It just ruined my pick because I had Samoa Joe winning this match. But, of course, Juan Cena, he has to get that super offense in. I'm just baffled by it. I don't know. John Cena's a part-timer, and he's probably not going to be on SmackDown next week or this week anyway, so I don't understand why he had to get anything in. Of course, the crowd was going to be polarizing about him. I mean, which crowd isn't polarizing about John Cena or Roman Reigns in that matter? But it wasn't too bad. I mean, a little bit frustrated with that, but, it is what it is. Let's see out here. Angle versus Cena, of course, happened. Great nostalgia. Great fact that these two have once been bitter enemies, turned friendship, turned rivals. It worked well. I liked it a lot. Seeing a lot of nostalgia, and that's something WWE does very well, is the nostalgia act, because that's all they can really do, because they can't build up new stars, which is evident by tonight in the main event result. But before we get there, I believe Finn Balor was eliminated by Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton was eliminated by Braun Strowman. So at this point, I believe it is Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon at this point. Shane McMahon somehow doesn't get eliminated, and I still don't get it. I still don't get why Shane McMahon is the last SmackDown dude on the thing. Makes no sense. Just makes no sense at all. I don't get it. But before that happened, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens also interfered in the match, which is very good. I think this was before Randy Orton got eliminated. So, of course, Randy Orton did a RKO to Kevin Owens. And Shane McMahon beat Sami Zayn with a steel chair. Of course, it was interference, but it wasn't something that'll cost SmackDown in that. God, I need to stop yawning. I mean, I wasn't really watching the match that long, but anyway, they interfered in the match. They got involved, but they didn't really do anything that was so controversial or very demoralizing to the team. Even though Randy Orton got eliminated, and like I said, it was Shane versus Triple H, Braun Strowman, and Kurt Angle. It is what it is. And once those guys were fighting against Shane, we had a kind of a twist where Kurt Angle had Shane McMahon in the ankle lock, but all of a sudden Triple H comes out of nowhere and just forearms Shane McMahon, not Shane McMahon, Kurt Angle, and then pedigrees Kurt Angle, and we see a limp Shane McMahon with a hurt ankle, a bum ankle, just laid on top of Kurt Angle. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle gets eliminated by Shane McMahon with the help of Triple H. Something that was a little bit confusing and weird. We thought, it would lead to Shane McMahon, not Shane McMahon, but Triple H and Kurt Angle for WrestleMania. But something else happened in this match where, Triple H and Braun Strowman are the only ones left. After, Triple H helps up his brother-in-law Shane, he pedigrees Shane out of nowhere. And then, we thought maybe Triple H is going to go to SmackDown. He's more of a SmackDown guy because that's where all of the NXT guys are. But then he pedigrees Shane. 1, 2, 3. Raw wins the Survivor Series match. Unbelievable scenes. Still confused as hell as to what happened. Braun Strowman's confused himself. I believe this might be a babyface turn for Braun Strowman, but we'll have to see in a later date. But we see Braun Strowman look confused as hell. And all of a sudden, man, we see Triple H, Braun Strowman, they're celebrating. Triple H, getting scared because Braun Strowman was like, if you ever cross me again, I'm going to kill you. Or not maybe kill you, but I'm going to beat you up. Triple H then tries to go for the pedigree, but Braun Strowman blocks it, power slams him one time, and then again power slams him. So we got Braun Strowman might be babyface, but we might see a Braun Strowman and Triple H match, I believe. I mean, that'll be a weird combination, and I don't know if they're scared because they can't sell tickets without Triple H. So like I said, guys, before this little transition, sorry about it, but Like I said, is a Triple H versus Braun Strowman match happening because they're kind of scared of this Kane versus Braun Strowman match? It wasn't really going to be something that people were excited about. And if that's the case, I'm going to be even more upset thinking about it now while I had the time to take a break, was the fact that if this happens, we're not going to see, the waste of Finn Balor taking a pin from Kane. It's just going to be such a waste, especially if Kane just decides to go away. That's going to be such dumb storytelling, such dumb booking for a guy that you just scrapped a storyline for. So you kind of ruined Finn Balor's momentum. So thanks, WWE, for doing that. It just makes no sense. You need to understand and you need to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work for you guys. But, will they listen? Will they care? Probably not. They've done it for, however long this garbage, since Daniel Bryan. They've been doing it for 6-7 years now. I'm just so flabbergasted by this. It's just so annoying to me because I think Finn Balor could be a really good guy, but of course, you had to bury him in Kane's honor, I guess. Kane had to get over by Braun Strowman, I guess. Kane has to put over Braun Strowman, which to me is dumb as hell because Big Show did that already. Roman Reigns already did that already. But, it's whatever. But let's move on to something more important, is going to be the fact that what I thought of the pay-per-view and what I expected from it. So let's go with what I expected first. I expected the New Day versus Shield match to be a very good match, hard-hitting. Of course, I went with the New Day, but I thought, the Shield was just going to win because they're just that damn good. Or not that they're that damn good. They just have Roman Reigns, so it becomes a little bit predictable. But, they're still a good tag team. I can't knock them for it, but it is what it is for there. I thought the Survivor Series match for the men's was going to be a lot different, along with the women's. I thought Asuka was going to dominate a little bit more. They booked her right in the match, but I thought she was going to dominate a little bit more. Let's see what else we had. The Miz Baron Corbin match went about as I expected. Garbage. The women's match, like I said, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, wasn't too bad. A little bit better than what I expected, but still not very interesting. The AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar match blew me away. I thought it was going to be just a squash match or just something quick that Brock Lesnar's just not interested in. But he was interested in this, and it worked for us there. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the Usos versus The Bar. Met my expectations. Perfect match. And the reality that we got from Survivor Series was a fat confusion. Like, I would maybe, if I were to rank it out of 10, I would probably say it was like a 5 or a 5.5. Some of the matches were good, especially the Bar and Uso match. Great match on the card. The only one I was not convinced with was the Miz and Baron Corbin match, which of course was terrible, and it showed why it was terrible. The New Day versus Shield match disappointed me a lot with the speed of the match. It was very slow. I thought it would be a little bit more faster paced, especially seeing how the New Day worked before with the Usos match and how, their previous line of work. They should have been running circles, but I don't know why the Shield decided to be a little bit slower today. But overall, just very confused at the end as well with Triple H winning. Way to put your new guys over, WWE. Triple H, your new guy that you're supposed to be building up. I guess Triple H is the new young guy. I don't know. But, it is what it is there. Other than that, Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, great match. I loved it. I thought it was an awesome match. I may not sound enthused right now, but it's just because I've been watching 4 hours straight of WWE. I think these reviews will probably be better on a Monday when I'm more refreshed and energized, because after watching a long wrestling show, you just feel tired and defeated. But, it's your job, it's my job to just, give you guys my opinions and thoughts of what happened in Survivor Series. But, like I said, 5 or a 5.5 out of 10 was an okay show, but was not good enough in some aspects of it. The men's Survivor Series match was just a clusterfuck and confusing, especially towards the end where we just didn't know where the storylines were going to go with. You could go either way with those, but, that's your Survivor Series. Like always, NXT wins these weekends. There's yet to be a weekend where NXT has not won the weekend, But will it change? Who knows? We'll see in the future if it'll change. Maybe WrestleMania will change our opinions. Probably not. But this has been your boy Bernie here at Fusion Corp. Thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for viewing this stuff. We appreciate your guys' feedback, and we appreciate you guys commenting in our comment sections because it gets us more engagement with you guys, and we like to be engaging and have conversations with you guys. That's all this channel is about, making sure we make fun content, entertaining content, and content people would like to talk about. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. Peace, guys.